So yang Vajrvarahi patachidale Yangzab. De Vajrvarahi patachidale Vagoni.
Oh, the
Yore da Midja da Mangsa da la Lapsang. Midja Lena.
Yodam. Conso di Perbulo e io.
Oh.
Quindi la
But chicken con deve la Yoroa con la Korean, then con so young the nature of the chair take it now, then so we're just realizing that we may not have opening prayers for the people who are online. So we might want to, is there somebody who can screen share if we get those dropped in the chat? Are you able to screen share for the people on Zoom? So these opening prayers, we probably we need to get a file from David so that then they can be screen shared for the people who are online. Is that okay? Okay. Yeah.
this technology, right? Sometimes technology is good, sometimes maybe not good, but
yeah. Also, yeah, that's always. He does because I sent it to him. Yeah. Oh, okay.
hello. Nice to meet you. Thank you, everybody. So I think a long time, probably 6 years, right?
Since he's been in Vermont.
Yeah, we'll see. Used to be every year, so yes, me too. And also this, I saying this technology, so one hand is, difficult, maybe distraction, but one hand is helpful. So I think online, so I think many people joined. Welcome. I happy to, we even though physically not here, but we can, hearing, seeing. So we together practice and some hearing the Dharma and discuss. I'm really happy. Thank you. And also, I think able to we can share a parable. That's great. If not, so same thing we call like Dharma. So meditation is same thing. So if you cannot see the parable, so then no worry, relax, meditate. Actually, this I do. We at Dharma. So this pair opening is very, very important.
So he's referring to the opening prayers, which are traditionally referred to in Tibetan as the Dagdangma. So it's this long recitation of opening prayers.
So that's very, very important. So this when the teachings or individually, different practice or modo practice is very, very important. Everything here, Bodhicitta and maybe a little bit after we finish the prayer, and then I want to little bit explanation the opening prayers. This is very, very important, and also necessity. So
Important and necessary. Mhm. Oh, okay.
Okay, so I think still working on, but we slowly start. Okay, thank you.
Okay. So we'll begin with these opening prayers. Dambo Inji or Dambo. Okay. So first in English, so we'll recite them once in English and once in Tibetan. So an abbreviated version. All mother sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and all knowingness, may they experience happiness and be separated from suffering. I will quickly establish them in the state of the most perfect and precious Buddhahood. Thus, until I achieve enlightenment, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. Until death, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. From now until this time tomorrow, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. So, Page 2. All sentient beings, limitless as the sky, take refuge in the glorious kind Lama Vajradhara, and the embodiment of the body, speech, mind, qualities, and activities of the Buddhas of the 10 directions and the 3 times, source of the 84,000 categories of the teaching, and Lord of the Sanghas. We take refuge in the kind root Lama and lineage Lamas. We take refuge in the deities of the mandalas of the Yidams. We take refuge in all the exalted Buddhas. We take refuge in the perfect Dharma. We take refuge in the excellent order of the Sanghas. We take refuge in all the noble Dakas, Dakinis, and Dharma guardians, possessors of the eye of wisdom. Until I attain the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in all the Buddhas. I take refuge in the Dharma, and likewise in the assembly of the Bodhisattvas. As the previous Buddhas embraced the enlightened mind and progressed on the Bodhisattva's path, I too, for the benefit of all sentient beings, give birth to bodhicitta and apply myself to accomplish the stages of the path. Jangju Ningbo Jige Bara Sanje Namla Gyabse Je Judan Jangju Semba Ye Zolan Dejen Gyabse Je Jedan Muje Deje Je Jangju Jangju Sembe La Bala Deda Jen Nebada Dejen Dola Vendonde Jangju Semne Kege Sheng Dejen Dene La Bala Rama Jende Page 3. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha most excellent, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. Sanje Judan Soge Jonam La Jangju Barde and Dage Jinzo Gibe Sonam Ge and Rola Benje Sanje Drubajo. May all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness which is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. refuge of all sentient beings without exception, divine subjugator of terrifying Maras, together with their hosts of demons, the one who understands all realities without exception exactly as they are, transcendent conqueror, together with your disciples, please come here to this place. The ground is sprinkled with scented water and strewn with flowers. It is adorned with Meru, the supreme mountain, the 4 continents, and the sun and moon. As a Buddha field, I offer it. May all sentient beings attain the happiness of the Buddha fields. Whatever merit I have gathered through prostrations, offerings, confession, rejoicing, beseeching, and praying, for the sake of the enlightenment of all sentient beings, all this I dedicate. Page 4 at the bottom of the page. Namo, to the Lama of utterly pure appearance and existence, I offer appearance and existence arisen from the ground. I supplicate you to thoroughly liberate the 3 realms. Please grant your blessings and overturn the depths of samsara. Sublime Master, wish-fulfilling jewel, crown ornament, the inconceivable, inexpressible mind of the victorious ones, the one endowed with the 5 wisdoms of omniscience, gracious one, the embodiment of love, precious protector of beings, I supplicate you from within the essence of mind. Please grant your blessings from within the innate nature. Please bless me that I may realize this mind, primordially unborn and completely pure as the Dharmakaya that is beyond intellect. Transcendent conqueror, the one thus gone, foe destroyer of afflictive emotions, completely perfected Buddha, endowed with logic and virtue, the one gone to bliss, knower of the world, captain, tamer of beings, the unexcelled teacher of devas and people, I respectfully prostrate, completely touching my head to the stainless feet of the unequaled Shakya king. At the time of your birth, leader of 2-legged beings, taking 7 steps on this great earth, you proclaimed, I am supreme in this world. To you who are wise, even then I prostrate. Possessing a body of complete purity, your sublime form is excellent. An ocean of primordial wisdom, you are like a golden mountain. The one whose renown is evident throughout the 3 worlds, protector of supreme attainment, to you I prostrate. To you who are endowed with the supreme marks, whose face is like an immaculate moon, to you, the one with a complexion like gold, I prostrate. A flawless one such as you, among the three levels of existence, is most exquisite. Unparalleled omniscient one, to you I prostrate. Supreme among humans, captain of those to be tamed, the one thus gone who severs the all-binding fetters, who with senses pacified is utterly pacified and skilled in peace. To that one, the one who dwelled at Shravasti, I prostrate. Refuge endowed with great compassion, totally omniscient one who indicates the way, ground basis for oceans of merit and qualities, I prostrate to the one thus gone, the pure cause free from attachments, the virtue that liberates from the lower realms, the altogether supreme ultimate truth, to the pacifying Dharma I prostrate. Having been liberated, they also reveal the path to liberation. Thoroughly respectful of the three higher trainings, they are a field of sublime qualities. To the Sangha, I also prostrate. And then we can flip back to the bottom of page 4 in the bold, and we can just follow the bold print all the way through, following what we just read in English.
Yeah, also thank you. Somebody shared this screen, so thank you.
je je wambo je dan je la ge nye yo shoba de la cha sa lo gombo tu je den ba dam je ba tom ba bo sona nyon de Yangzab jing je gla cha sa lo da be de ja da we je ge we gen so le do je ge don dan jo ge ba she ge chu la cha sa lo do ne do we lam ya don la ba da la rab de ge sheng ge dam ba yon den jeng gen de la yan cha sa lo. Also 7-9 prayer. So then on page 8 in the English, I prostrate to the youthful Manjushri, to those in the worlds of the 10 directions, however many there are, all the lions among humans who appear during the 3 times, to all of them without exception, I pay homage with respectful body, speech, and mind. The force of my aspiration prayer for excellent conduct brings all the victorious ones directly to mind. Bowing down with bodies as numerous as atoms in the realms, I prostrate to all the victorious ones. In a single atom there are Buddhas as numerous as atoms, each residing in the midst of their sons and daughters. Like that, I imagine the whole Dharma Dhatu completely filled with victorious ones. To those with oceans of inexhaustible, praiseworthy qualities, with sounds containing oceans of tones of melodic speech, I express the qualities of all the victorious ones. I praise all the Sugatas. With the finest flowers, the finest garlands, music, ointments, supreme parasols, supreme lamps, and the finest incense, I make offerings to the victorious ones. With the finest cloths, supreme scents, and fine powders equal to Mount Meru, all displayed in supreme and magnificent ways, I make offerings to those victorious ones. With vast and unsurpassable offerings, I venerate all the victorious ones. Through the power of faith and excellent conduct, I prostrate and offer to the victorious ones. Whatever negative actions I have performed with body, speech, and also mind, overpowered by desire, aggression, and stupidity, I confess each and every one of them. I rejoice in everyone's merit, the victorious ones of the 10 directions, the Bodhisattvas, the Pratyekya Buddhas, those in training, those beyond training, and all beings. I request the protectors, the lamps of the worlds of the 10 directions, who passing through the stages of awakening, attain Buddhahood beyond attachment, to turn the unsurpassable Dharma wheel. I supplicate with my palms joined together those who intend to demonstrate nirvana, to remain for kalpas as numerous as atoms in the realms, for the welfare and happiness of all beings. I dedicate whatever slight virtue is accumulated through prostrating, offering, confessing, rejoicing, requesting, and supplicating to enlightenment. So we don't have this one, but please turn the wheel of the Dharma of the 2 vehicles and their combination according to the dispositions and mental capacities of sentient beings. che chen tu mo te kwa ye chu ge ko lo ko du so.
Good morning. Good morning. Tene da tamala trahidelix tene da ngato da 유릉본에 tene ngohieba tang tega na yita chadone ngohieba tang mahieba tang tende la tene tsamalo la ota telis te tega na yita ngato lo gebo yore lo chung yore tene merek mandawa yore o tende tene ta tsamalo la be tahideles be ngato da tene yang tene ke chu kokap discuss chia ke tonda te be gasons.
So, Tashidalek, and welcome to all of you. It's really wonderful to be here, and he's so happy to see you all. Many faces that he's known and hasn't seen for a long time. You know, he said we've known each other for many years, many of you. Some of you he's meeting for the first time, and he's really delighted that you have all gathered here, both in person and online. So thank you everyone for coming, and how wonderful to have this opportunity to share in the Dharma together. You know, when we all come from such different backgrounds, for different ages, you know, some are older, some are younger, from different you know, different parts of the world, even different backgrounds, and it's really wonderful to all come together in this with this opportunity to discuss and share in the Dharma.
어다 대가나 기타 드린 지구 말에 가서다 롱웨이 와 가서데 상지 공방 마터 버드 라테네 지금 가서 다르마 스타디 practice 와 다다다 삼바 공바 어다 냠내 치야 냠드 드네 치야레 테네 대가나기 나랑 오네 happy to 드네 다 냠드 가서
So, and you know, we and many of you have come from far away and are joining from far away, and you know what we are doing together essentially, you know, really is from now until awakening. We are engaging in study, practice, and meditation together. So he said, you know, he's so happy to do this with all of you, to practice together with all of you, you know, from now until Buddhahood.
Tene ta tananga ta wa naya ke ngola tene ta ngaso karse gore ke chembo 가시지 되네. 쉬야 use.
So now before we get into the empowerment, there are a couple of things. So there are a couple of things that are connected with the preliminaries of empowerment, or the kind of the preliminary stages of empowerment that he wants to discuss a little bit that are important.
되네 와 될라다 그지 코로나 첨보리 텐드 코다 하이 티칭 되오지 갑토 발랍샤 요레 스텐드다 디지 ngazo di hadis mago vina ngazo tibet ko de durje gezung la gro durje ndeni durje juina ta le la yabore ngazo durje lamsa ra gro ina dendeni da deni semya da tis chik ko yana ko durje sem to gre yana durje la ro gro then do deni chik god is high under what ni china.
So, the meaning of empowerment itself can be very profound, and especially like these high level empowerments, such as these that we're receiving today. So they're really profound, and yet, if we don't really understand the meaning, there's a saying in Tibetan that it becomes like holding a Vajra by its tip. So a Vajra is easy to get a hold of. You can get a hold of a Vajra easily, but then if you carry it,
That's good.
if you can carry it by the tip, that's good. But
Maybe
but you might lose it. So it's kind of becomes like that.
어다티인데 제가 다티 단다 휴야데 내가 전부터 가리인스 휴이나 되네 땅아저디 추세야 제가 되네 강사세 니요레스.
So first of all, we have, if we think about it, like we have the Dharma, and then there's the individual.
다티인데 되네 sometimes 가서 가르치고지도 코란이 버디 카노지 샤샤요레스.
And sometimes our experience of this is like as if they are separate.
빼지 요레스. 나도 행동지 주고 요레스. 행동지 주고 그랬어.
주고 그래서는?
The cutting the tree.
Oh, okay.
이나양 다 행동당 그 딸이니 뭐 이나라 등산 천소. 코란이 냠도 샤샤나. 그 행동도 좋은 말이 맨날 행동으로 빼는 오진 그게 자원으로 와. 이나한테 주투고요 말이스. 나도 추어도 강사니 가노 샤샤나. 근데 편토고 말이스.
So it's like cutting down a tree. So like if the tree and the axe never make contact, then you can't cut down the tree. So the metaphor here is the tree is like the root of samsara. And so so he said these days, you could say the chainsaw and the tree, the axe and the tree. But if we leave them separate,
chainsaw next to the tree.
Or just put the chainsaw next to the tree, then we, can't cut the tree down. So it's the same with the Dharma and the individual, or like the Dharma and the practitioner.
That they catch him is. So they are treating the way out of the so then the countries chigores love your. Countries chigor love the Samring at that. Manchis why I say the Kanzada, Chu Kanzadi. Tanga to Manchis object though, some Tandego object. Oh, one Zachimboji, the Telejik, Lama Zachimboji, Telejik, Chu Zachimboid, Kopai Zachimbo, but the object Chibo, no Chigi or what, China, Kozachimbo, Chagi or Marspena, go Casey, no matter Zachimbo, Yimbi, Nayang, Tene, Koti. 파기 그 왕지 슈바당 슈바 대가라라 나도 계지 용모바 상황 방로야 안다고다 나도 디파 상마 장로야 안다고 근데 용구요 말이야.
So the reason why this is important is that sometimes what he observes is that there's almost like this objectification that happens with the Dharma, where we're like, oh, there's this profound empowerment or this profound teacher or this profound dharma. And there's a lot of emphasis on how special the object is, but the object remains an object. There's not the contact that is needed to really happen there for it to really manifest in its full profundity. So no matter how profound the object is, if we're not connecting with it and using it in such a way to become the antidote to the afflicted mind states or the afflictive emotions in our own mind stream as a means to purify our obscurations, then it doesn't matter how profound the object is. It doesn't, it isn't, we're not able to access its power as long as it remains an object.
Three are very important. Sanje karzongus na sanje ki. Tene ngene chune tarwa tenyu tarwa dobyaki. Lambaji. Ina tarwa ra rang la le hebar chu songdo. Tene sanje le la sata zamlen bigang le yomar wanga namba dang. Ina sanje rang ke ji parjo ke ji tsama sota sone object tene khanza la be. 근데 지토고 말해 송도 때 맞이돼 다 단다 파ጆ라 추자 첨보가래 람난다 라마자 첨보래 람난다 강다리야 랑게 맞이나 근데 이 지당다 갖고 그러와 이나 맞이나 근데 아주 용구요 말해스
So the Buddha himself says, I can show you the path to freedom, to liberation. I can show you the way, but I can't attain it for you. I can't just place you in the state of liberation or freedom. And so that whether or not the Dharma becomes the means to achieve freedom depends on you. And so there's no one who is more profound and extraordinary than the Buddha. And so if, the Buddha, what is being said here is that if we objectify, the objects of Dharma without really bringing them into our mind stream and using them as tools to, actually do the work that we have to do, then no matter how profound the Dharma is, no matter how profound the teacher is, it doesn't end up really being of such great benefit.
어떻게 인도 다 가서 냠란 집이네 가라 가리나지 추 가르치거나 탐마 개체가 다는 데리다 온도래 대가나 로도 넘바 히레 그래서 개체모레스 되게 가른 약이 요래라비나 되네 배나 당본다고 샤샤비나 지금은 미기 류덴디 고직 자천보리 삼바텔다나 류덴들 초라 마타야 되네 고갑지라고 요러와 되네 대인도 다디 물루 자 개천보디 다 가르치고도 세삼나 다 레준데서야 들이러와
메타바.
오다 당보 오래다 메타발람나 되게
말해봐.
레이텔람나 되게 배나 메타바차디 요리스 메타바 하코비게 가르펜 거선다 가르치고 그러와 가르쳐야 돼 되네 렌데서야 돼 백해천보래다 다 단기 공도 휴가 나는 일이 지금 가서 렌데 디직 송비나 되네 당간나 일이 가서 대화노나 대외 주지 드롭셔도 그 유용 그러와 대마도 제게다 나왕자 첨보지 휴바이 다 대화랑 토쇼 로samdina 대화 도약하고 그래서
So when we practice, no matter what practice that we do, the preliminaries are so crucial to really being able to practice correctly. So we have to have the preliminaries of the four thoughts that turn the mind as the foundation of all levels of Dharma practice. So first, the first of the four thoughts that turn the mind is contemplating how rare and extraordinary it is to have this opportunity as a human being. So contemplating precious human rebirth. And in doing so, then we really get a sense of profound gratitude and also a really strong sense of purpose and the imperative to not let this precious opportunity go to waste, but to really apply ourselves in the practice of the path. And then having the awareness of how rare and precious it is to have a human rebirth, then in addition to that, we contemplate the second of the four thoughts, which is the truth of impermanence. And so we know that even though we have this situation, it's temporary, it's so fleeting, and there's no telling, when it will be lost or how long it will remain. And so then we feel even more committed to devoting ourselves, really dedicating ourselves to the practice. And then in understanding the truth of impermanence, how is it then that we engage ourselves in the practice, in the path? It is through understanding which is the third thought that turns the mind, the truth of karma, cause and effect. So really gaining confidence in the infallibility of karma, cause and effect. And knowing that, whatever causes that are created will yield the corresponding results. And so as we purify our conduct of body, speech, and mind, we create the causes for happiness. We create the causes for well-being, happiness, and bliss. But if we, for instance, think, this empowerment where there's, it promises such extraordinary happiness and bliss. But if we don't then do the work to create the causes that are going to allow us to realize that profound level of well-being and bliss, then it won't come from just receiving the empowerment. We have to create the causes. We have to engage in the practice of the path in order to be able to experience that.
어다 들어가나 이게 다 가서들이 다 이견디나 다동 하토 고그다 저당 코르베케다 동행에 올라오고 이나면다 지 가서 이견디나 다다 강에 가서도 삼지메 자웨게 다 데메메드 강에 되기요리스 디인도다 디 solution 원에 디 즉 파르족라 블라임라고 치리다 고 치바레 고이레 치다 치바레 이나티 스칼레 카보레스 메 칸자기 치바레 라보 칸자 치바레 라보요레 이나야 칸자게 레 칸자 치바라바 이나 텔레 다 가르스나 one by one 즉다 제기 줄라테니 창접 셈로 즉 닝제직제네 테네 메제 테네 니 테네 솜 테네 지나 테네 짓고 잠블랭이나리 코바트니키나나 테네직 펜바 세나리 대화 세나리 오테네직 용토구요레스.
And then the fourth of the four thoughts is contemplating the suffering of samsara. And so we can see that there is so much suffering in the world, so much difficulty, hardship, and sadness, suffering in the world, and so much that is unnecessary, that is human created. And so when we think about solutions, how do we clear away the suffering of the world? And the tendency is to, of course, to blame, all the individuals who are creating, the conditions for difficulty and suffering. But really, it's never quite.
Can be, yes, but
It can be, but it's not so
not
simple,
fixed.
really.
Fix.
And we can't fix by focusing on the external. But when we choose ourselves inwardly to cultivate a pure heart, to develop the really precious qualities of compassion, love, compassion, and bodhicitta. And then that spreads from person to person. So the one person, two people, three people, the more people who commit themselves to doing this inner work, this then has the potential to really alleviate the suffering of the world and to bring about well-being, benefit, and happiness.
That 누가 요래 정도 보디사파 베네차샤 있는 것도 스토리지 요러와 tumbabuye radaji kita 종지 요다디 really or true or not but 인다고 뺀다 오치나 nga 쪽서로 갖다 nga 지분이 겁나 잠을은 가르 팽그레 삼그러와 야야 팽그레스 머니 고는 팽그레 송보는 가서 빼나 뭐 야담발라나 그 멋직대 빼뭐 두자 야담바요나 멋직 닝게 겁나 그 야담 뭐 차차로와 빼나 차샤위는 것도 100 럽도 100 love gore ina ta 100 people te metodo da tubore love ge lamna pe da ina ya ko meje ke ko meje ya ko cha bina tini 100 me cha ro ro aha o te do de pengo te na yi da da dong di te wa rida ji yo timba pu yi se ya ji do o ti dong di ge rida shi le kon ran so ji le pe chambo ji di ko yu sama ji bo chong bo de love ge do yu se ge wa
So, and it's so powerful. This is the, the objective of the Bodhisattva. So, for instance, there's a story that exemplifies this, called The Four Harmonious Friends. And sometimes, we have doubt. We think, well, if I meditate on compassion, how does that help the world? How can that really be of any real benefit? But it really does have benefit. If you think about it, if you have like 100 people who are really kind of negative in their intentions, and then you have just one person who changes their mind, who transforms their minds and becomes a truly compassionate person, then that group of 100 people is no longer a group of 100 people, it's one less. And so in this way, the cultivation of the inner beautiful qualities of the mind is contagious. And so it really does have really extensive power and benefit in the world. So there's this story that is often told in Tibetan about these 4 animals and there was a region that was experiencing a lot of conflict and hardship and kind of the merit of the area had really diminished, and there was like famine and all sorts of difficulties. And there were these 4 animals in the forest that ended up developing this really harmonious relationship with one another and this kind of loving and respectful attitude toward one another. And they created such a harmonious community among themselves in the forest. And then the power of that ended up benefiting the entire region. So then the region started becoming more harmonious and the crops started becoming more plentiful, and there was sort of the merit increased as a result of the harmony that was established originally by these 4 friends in the forest.
Maybe we not now, but we can talking about the story. If maybe somebody know, but somebody don't, so we can later we can the story.
Yeah, so we can talk about it later. Maybe you've seen the images of the elephant and the rabbit and the one. They're standing on top of another. And anyway, we'll talk about it later.
어다티니 땅에 단계리 추다 강산이 되고래 있어야 돼. 간리리 추거든. 땅아도 추치도 닝게 추치비 까블라 간리스 되고래 람나. ngatu yula expecting o nga chuinde china ngi na cha ta gre nge chuinde china tine ji abe karse gore da tandarang sangji gre tandarang deva tu gre tinde sama yo samare
So, this point of bringing up, going back to what he originally mentioned, which is this kind of separation that can happen between the individual and the Dharma becoming like an object or related to and as an object, is that then what also happens is that the practitioner has a lot of expectation. You know, if I get this dharma, or if I do this, like, thing, I will recover from my illness, or I will like be attain enlightenment really quickly, or there's this expectation to kind of get some result quickly,
캬다디 용거 말이스.
and that won't happen.
대가 너이다 딘디라고 메나. This is a danger of channel yours.
And it's a dangerous attitude to have.
딘디네 곧 나사 랑상 마다디 고 작은 것도 단다 여다 뭐지 쿠션 캣 대속에 랍기도 가지는 가디 배 파니시멘트 당 거래 놓거든. 대나기 기때네 맞아 양 추라 양 디스 대반로 매반로 되네. 오 팬토마송가 주치버래 이능아 팽기면 놓도 좀 그러 봤더니.
So, and what can happen too is that it can really destroy your confidence and faith in the Dharma, because then you end up feeling resentful and disappointed. Like he said, he's heard, for instance, in some, theistic traditions, like in maybe Catholicism or something, if somebody is really sick, and then there's this feeling like, why is God punishing me? And so that kind of attitude can develop if we objectify so much or project so much onto the Dharma and have so much expectation.
다 인스턴트 다 같이 거래라나 다 가서 추 강사 때네 다 배나 곰 잡다라와 곰제 잡 곰도 잡도 다 담보랑다 디 고 가서 거래 니파 통마디네 칼레 곰 준도 잡네 곰 잡에 그 줌센텔라 때네 테네랑게 냠뇽지 끼네 곰티기 팽기도 삼바지 랩그레스 들려나 다 강사다 주님 되게 그랬어.
So, but on the other hand, when the practitioner has more of a kind of integrated approach to the Dharma, maybe you would say, and they are meditating in such a way that they're allowing for this slow transformation, or sort of this slow progression of deepening into and understanding the benefits of the practice, then there's really this deep kind of merging of the individual and the Dharma that occurs, and the benefits of meditation are deeply understood. And when that happens, then and there's the feeling of understanding that, then there's a real desire to meditate.
아니면 나의 내가라지 제바시위어래다. 나도 담배 추때 정도 어디 나왜 깝라. 나와 들었대네. 되네. 오, 다 나기도 삼바라와. 나기도 나나고 인감을 보러와. 이나 다티 삼노지 당신 나야도 도보래. 나나서다 차고도 근데 마상와 제제. 오, 나기도 스티네 삼노 파자치서 디스타 나 지구르베 나게 나 지구르베 삼나 나 지구 말와. 베데 코로 만만하게 요말 삼아 나기 요와. ten nabe kabla tene chik towa chi o ta trenga na di vidi tsabde mu tsama to ka na ta chan sho sta chi ro o tinde ki logic ji bi na ko na ta ta khale ra na ta te da pecha thagi yoris yin ya 나타 제차자트 마라비나 고 지글로트 빼 홀로지 지보지다 빼 되네 뒤니 따디 나서 추어다 강산이 본 레리오레스
So for instance, if we get sick, which happens, it's inevitable because of the truth of birth, old age, sickness, and death, and there is no way to avoid those. But the way that we relate with that illness, or the way that different people experience that hardship of enduring sickness, really varies. So if, for instance, we are really connected with the Dharma in such a way that there's not this separation between the Dharma and the individual, then we're able to, first of all, accept the illness, even though it is very uncomfortable and painful and difficult. There is a level of acceptance. Of course, there is a desire to get better, but then there's also the capacity to bring that experience of hardship and difficulty onto the path by using it as a way to cultivate compassion. So for instance, when we're sick and we're suffering, and then we take the focus away from ourselves and our own hardship, and we ask ourselves, am I the only one who is experiencing this hardship in the world? Am I all alone in my illness? And of course, the answer is no. There are so many countless sentient beings who are suffering. And so then when we have that awareness of all the pain and suffering of illness that all sentient beings are, so many beings have to endure and experience, then we can really turn our focus to the kind of desire for freedom from suffering for all beings. And then we can even say, may this pain and difficulty that I am suffering from become, through my having to experience this, may all beings become free of this kind of suffering. May no one have to suffer. May my pain take the place of the pain of all beings, and may all beings become free from suffering. And if we're able to work with our hardship like that, he said almost 100%, you will get better. The pain will diminish as a result. And at the very least, if not, then at the very least, you will become significantly more relaxed and at ease. And so this is the result of the individual and the Dharma really being united, being mixed.
Even though 내가 저다 맥힌로거나 당가 맥히살라테네 마몬로레 텐로디테네 다 추징년도솔라 고다직 수보게고 디솔루션 차네테네 다고 신로비요와데 코랑게 하코비요 다 하코비 깔라테네 고베 또완로지 렙기도와 가나로지 렙테네 다직 라마테야 산지테야 추테야 근데 지네지 원에 단에 파다 디베 까올라테네 원에 코랑 단다티지 코나다 원에 코 블레스 로와다 대화 첨부세야 티 용사래 zam비티네 근데지 건강하네 테네 코랑 라마 타반다고 제진테네 통고요와 뭐다 근데 가서 하지 고비나 테네 추세야디 자침부 간데 임바도당 테네 강산이 본 제차네 다음에 힘바지게 전부 왕유치네
And also at the time of death, even. So there are many Dharma practitioners who are so deeply united with their practice at the time of death that as they experience the dissolution of the body, they actually are in a state of joy. They're really actually kind of delighting in that process of dissolution, and they're completely united with the Dharma, with their practice of remembering their Lama, remembering the Buddha, remembering the Dharma, and one can enter into a state of real bliss at the time of death, and with that, then one really achieves freedom at the time of death. And this is kind of indicative of just how profound the Dharma really and truly is. And it isn't something that someone can impose upon us from the outside. It's something that we have to, that we have, like, the complete power is completely in our hands to access and the Dharma in this way. It can't be imposed from the outside. So another important thing that's really connected with empowerment.
Vajrvarahi khanda yang karziruta chik be pomoyimba namban zewo yowa chik tinding the wajik be tinding the wajikina ti kun jikenbi ke kalagure chik subtanda wotang potang pomo seyanda woda ti nibozamotang norwares.
So another really important thing, very big misunderstanding that happens, especially with practices like Vajrayogini, practices that are the kind of union practices, that there is this idea of where it becomes kind of put into a worldly context, like Dakini means like a beautiful girl, or something like that, like with a lovely body and form. And so there's this kind of misunderstanding of, the kind of male and female aspects as they appear in the context of these empowerments and these high-level practices, that becomes really mistaken. So the beauty of the Dakini is not a worldly beauty.
I think this is very important, so our practitioners. So, ngato yom chemo hera ji power to chimba ala the yom chemo ta ngone yom chemo hera power ji ta toni to barawa ditendi ki toni to batala ngato yom chemo hera power ji ta tiang pomoro yom chemo hera ji power to chimba sta.
So the great mother Prajnaparamita is, the transcendent perfection of wisdom. The meaning of that is emptiness.
More clear understanding.
And sort of their and so, often, for instance, the deities appear naked. They're described as being, naked or without any clothing, and that nakedness is not like, kind of an ordinary nakedness.
That concept, I think this is connected to the Devayoris. Ngato karsena negen rotwe ayo mare karsena ngato ta ngo chaya dan tene jik da dan hen dan da pe nam to mambu ji yorwa tindi ni ko nege cha ayo mare sta
But it's connected with ordinary nakedness in this way, because if you think about it, like if we were to go naked, we would be really embarrassed. It would feel, very uncomfortable. We'd have all these concepts around it because we live within this realm of duality with concepts of self and other and, pure and impure and so forth.
다 원이 다 가르치는 것도 되니 공도 휴가 나기래 다 당기냐 희랑 가서 뭐지 당도라 뭐든 더오래 다 ngazu ki jikten di kita number tok pa de mena rawa chutam ji nelo te khonani lagdo te khonani ta nelo ji to sona ta nelo to de wa tala ta ngone negere ta khaya ko tele ji chakwa tang dangwa tang sangyen tang zo tsama ta yo mares tel ta negel la bores.
But what naked really means here is like, and this is something that we can kind of connect with, for instance, like the moment of death before we're going to die, and all of the kind of things that we put so much importance on during our life, like in the world and our concepts, they become kind of inconsequential. We realize that they have no real essence. And so that the true nature of all phenomena, the meaning of emptiness, free from the kind of layers of proliferating discursive thought or concepts of duality, that is what this nakedness is really referring to, without attachment, without aversion, free from craving and pushing away.
다 딜라 다 내게 라울란 되게 다 내게 갈도 버래 세나 ngazo 다 차제 친구 그거 조바 친구 다 가리 통 버래 라나 다 원에 단에다 샘지 내로도 다 통버려 다 내게 다 잡아라 다 들라 다 들라 간도래로.
So this is the meaning of the Dakini, actually. So it is that complete, it is the essence of Mahamudra, the essence of Dzogchen, the true nature of awareness that is completely free from the delusion of conceptual discursiveness.
제가 나이 다 가서 되려고 이제 ordinary 포도 모지디 대화요리 라브로와. 다 되니 단다 왕도나 다 대화 첨부 세다세요. 사미기 대화세요. 용거도와. 뒤 대체한테 간데 용거를 하면 다 되니 내게 배나 자주 진부 니로 통과. 라와 조바 진부 니로나 다 원에 대화 첨부리. 들라 갈선하지 그 보통 부모께 대외게 대말이 생겨마다 마질라 프랑 정도와 되네 가르송을 선대지 송을 가르치는 거죠. 벌써야 뭐서야 돼. 그게 말이 스티 요 말이 슬라고.
So it's really important not to confuse, especially with the language of empowerment, where there is this language, about kind of sexual language regarding male and female and great bliss, and so there is the talk of the undefiled great bliss, which is the inherent bliss in realizing the true nature of awareness, in realizing Mahamudra or realizing Dzogchen, the experience of that, because it is completely free of ordinary concepts, is extraordinarily blissful. It's the nature of great bliss. It isn't, so this bliss, this undefiled bliss, is not sort of like kind of, the kind of conceptual bliss, or the something, that is kind of or sexual in nature in an ordinary sense, like, between, yes, he said between, or the kind of male and female imagery here. As actually Machik Lavdran has said, there is no gender, there is no reality to gender. But without understanding that, there's a lot to get mixed up mixed up on and confused about in this way in the context of secret mantra.
Tene tanda so dewa pharmacy go de tende yores tene nyota saburo.
And there's also a lot of symbolic, like a lot of tantric symbolic language that is completely symbolic in meaning that is not to be understood literally, like, kill your parents, for instance.
I think you know probably familiar this the Naroba, right?
The story of Naropa.
So Naroba looking for Teloba. So then just in the jungle, and then the Naroba asked to those, he meet a couple of people and, whoa, where's, Teloba, where's Teloba? And then the person said, yeah, I know Teloba, where's Teloba?
I know where Telopa is.
Mm-hmm. But please show me where's, yeah, but you can help me first, then I can show you. So he's really happy. Oh, sure, no problem, I can help you. Then he said, oh, okay, can you help me kill my parents? So the Naroba said, no. Actually, he is Teloba, I think.
An emanation of
right.
Teloba, yeah.
Then he said, then I tell you, oh, okay, then I tell you, Chadani, then Docha, Amadan, the Hedon Pani.
So then he says, okay, well then in that case, you'll never find Telopa unless you kill the mother of desire and the father of hatred. So there's a lot of coded language like this in secret mantra.
Semji go growa, semji go wadela, then somebody achieva chancho semji gulong sungdoa, then tap jachima, someone gulongs yores.
And most importantly is to have, as we are aspiring bodhisattvas on the, practicing on the path of bodhisattvas or practicing the path of bodhisattvas, then first and foremost, there has to be the cultivation of bodhicitta. So when, especially in engaging in these practices of secret mantra, that should always be our primary motivation, is to cultivate this, the profound mind of bodhicitta, and to utilize the methods, the vast methods of secret mantra.
Particular that's snake teaching, monkey teaching, pig teaching, local tuning on teaching check or some yours.
So in the Drupon Kagyu tradition, we have 3 big cycles of teachings that happen. They are like on different in the period of the 12-year cycle according to the Tibetan calendar. So they're the snake year teachings, the monkey year teachings, and the pig year teachings.
That tella Carcentina, that's what you Tigri, long nangari, one nangari, yinaya, then doing tuchi chemo, saya geta, chanjob sembik, domba. Rawa, gunzob, chanjob samba, tondam chanjob samba, that teleyanji, sanji tanjo samba, Latin, sonam zayak chidren, choba puya, that and the kunimani hold the kinimani at least 3 hours.
And what is, and there are a lot of really profound, empowerments, transmissions, and teachings that happen during these teaching events. But what is considered to be the most profound and important is when they bestow what's called the Tugje Chimo, which is a very extensive bodhisattva vow ceremony that spans over the course of 2 days. And so one takes the vows of a bodhisattva and generates a relative bodhicitta, ultimate bodhicitta, and it becomes also this kind of ritual for a vast accumulation of merit and offerings and so forth.
다디 가르나야 요래서나 단단 가서 페어부 다 페이지 1, 2니 보러와 2대 차상에서 말이 되네 데레스.
And so that's why in the opening prayers, like the first page of the prayers, maybe the first and second page, I'm not sure, is part of that vow ceremony, the Tugje Chemo. The first and second pages.
다 뒤인데 다 빼내차 하는데 내가 첨부 쉬우래. 다 가서디 제타 될 뭐 individual 이나리 even the animal라 제타 가서 닝제 요래 zon래 참바 요래 zon래 아와 랑제 요래 이나야 당원의 계지 참바 승이 당된바 닝제 승이 당된바 심전도 졸라 요 말에 ngazola yo mares jumsen teledene ta ngazo 상지 토부 요 말와 지 다 상지에서도 가장 댕기거나 차단을 되는 ngazo 토부 요 마res.
So this is really important because everyone has some love and compassion, and everyone certainly has the potential. And like all humans have some expression of love and compassion in their lives. Even in animals, we see also have, express love and compassion. But this is limited. So this is an aspect of the type of love and compassion that we aspire to develop, but it's such a kind of small window into it. When like truly developed, love and compassion is inconceivably powerful. And this is the level of, this is the bodhicitta, that is possessed by the bodhisattvas, and it comes only into full maturation with complete awakening, where one is completely free from the mind of attachment and aversion.
가르고고래 다 단단들이 통고는 달아 담을지고라 노버지베게 따라도 탐지심 버리고 버리고 탐지 소리 마당고나 있으면 대화도 되는 동안도 녀르라는 명답으로 상지 장조는 뭐지 토버차 세야다 단 비난 상디요레스.
But the meaning of how we cultivate this is here in these prayers that we recite all the time, and putting first those who are most difficult. So all mother sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and all-knowingness, may they experience happiness, be separated from suffering. I will quickly establish them in the state of the most perfect and precious Buddhahood.
다디 딘지 개념내 지야라다 두두고 그래스.
To develop that, to practice this, requires time.
딘지 개 두두고 그래라 로제고 로톱지 제고래.
And we need courage.
드네 대중구도와 가르세나 저와는 뭐지 빠우세야지 차고 그래 송요래.
So as Lord Jigten Sumgön says, we have to actually become warriors.
다티 착벌 집을라 대중구 당가서디 데투데 썸노지 땅다르와. 나저 뭐 힘발라 두보레 라비아 레로쇼 오토매틱로와.
So if you think about it, like in our day-to-day lives, it's so easy to criticize someone else, to say that person's wrong, that person's bad.
이내양 같다 conversation. I don't know, maybe Western I like better, but 이는 다 ngan 되기면도 람년데 start 해야 돼. 가고 해야 돼요. 로호요 말이지. 로토요 말이지.
So he said, but it's hard to sort of acknowledge our own faults, our own shortcomings. Although he said he does think Westerners are a little bit easy, it's easier for them. He said, but or he sees that, that's not as difficult maybe. But he said, generally speaking, then to like actually acknowledge one's own faults is much harder.
뒤에 다 라비아데 갈세나 직들이다. 직 차당을 개체라고 차당을 개체. 직 약보도 직 두보도 랍도 또 conversation 되고 interesting 되고 요래서.
And there's this intrigue in what he calls like the kind of the talk or chatter that is based on likes and dislikes or attachment and aversion. When the conversation steers into that direction, it sort of becomes more interesting.
Maybe this is the political too, right? No matter we're talking about political, how much benefit, I don't know. What that tea in the Karsanta, Tilly, Tadung, furthermore, Tangatsuji Ngara Magawa, Jegla, Tine, Yangzab, Koyabo Yongshwasayaki, Lohote, Chia Kaboris to Zunguris.
And so it really takes like courage and dignity to shift that tendency toward one that is so like, for instance, especially someone you dislike, someone who is difficult for you, to instead see them, with compassion, to hold them in compassion and to sort of see them in a positive light takes courage.
In order to the tobar chibalata, Tangatu Drati Kichiti Bazamotana, Pecha Kaboris.
And ultimately it isn't actually, that it is to benefit your enemy.
Teach it in Samna, in the Monday Baris.
If you think that that's what it is doing, then that's kind of a mistaken understanding. But the person that it really benefits is yourself. And so this is part of like when, the Dharma really merging with the individual. So what we have, instead of thinking about it, oh, this is hard because it like, if we're thinking about it in terms of like benefiting the person who is our enemy or who's difficult for us, instead, if we know that the benefit that we will experience by transforming hatred into love, then it's really different.
So then furthermore, so why I am not enlightenment? Why is not freedom? So because of this hatred, what enemy la.
And then when we really are aware of that, when we think in that way, it becomes relatively easy to develop love for your enemies.
I forget. That negative line by something Gahida be Hirangalatine, Trova Jegore, Slaimba. Trova the Kandichi Gorilana, Ta Kotanda Kinjikendi Kitako. Hindogu or even Teza Manzi Bikita, Koji Ombozon Gandogore, Tenga Somikala, Ta, ko Semjik Nilo Titini, Tonyung Yores. Semjik Nilo Ton Lade, Rangi Semdan, Tenejik Sanjik Semdan, that Deti Dan, Rangi Sani, Yermevajite, Dendo Yores. Tindegala, Tatangi Casset, Devachimbo, Seatini.
And so regarding this naked awareness that was spoken of before. So when like at the moment of death, to be able to die in a state of genuine delight, as the body dissolves, as it shuts down, our faculties, gradually, are no longer working, and the world, it seems to dissolve. Then there is the ability to rest in the true nature of awareness and to realize that your own mind and the Buddha, the mind of the Buddha, and the deity, the nature, the true essence of the deity are one and the same, that they are an indivisibility. And then the experience in that is one of great bliss and just complete or pure delight.
다 내게 중요하다 다 잠반 잠반이 창조 센터와 당지 행동을 다 다든 점이 현 다든 점이 그 컨트롤해서 메위나 되네 랑라 제번지 바디 automatically 메와 창조 거 되니 당가서 내게 되니 진 차비요 창조 센 자체 모임 바디.
And so what that nakedness actually is the ultimate bodhicitta. It's the absence of the self-grasping mind, the absence of the limited identity. So when that self-grasping mind is sloughed off, and then there's only naked awareness, which is pervaded by naturally present great compassion or love.
어다 디인디 되게 다 단다디 강데 몽바 창조 셈레 되네 단다 디치 세야 돼 주바 창조 셈레 되네 창조 셈 인문 체지 화를 세야 되라 되네 다 창조 셈제 알와 오다 디 되인도 가서 해동도 소라 빼메시 위게 개침 보러 와 가서 야고거나 양도 마통나 지 등마지게 똥나 가서 주일에 제토고요 말이스.
So again, just emphasizing the importance of these prayers and what is contained within them. Actually, every time we recite these prayers, there are the vows of cultivating relative bodhicitta, or cultivating the aspiration bodhicitta, cultivating application or action bodhicitta, engaging, the Gande.
Tita gang dala dangwa seya tita terwa. Momba tina techi seya ten yubarwa.
So
tikiula changjo sem seya de kobot kidawa.
Okay. With the all mother sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me, all the way through that prayer is the cultivation of aspiration bodhicitta. And then thus, until I achieve enlightenment, I perform in virtuous deeds of body, speech, and mind, until death, etc. From now until this time tomorrow. That is application or action bodhicitta, the commitments of aspiration and then application bodhicitta. And then at the bottom of page 2, until I attain the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Buddhas, etc. I take refuge in the Dharma, and likewise in the assembly of the Bodhisattvas. As the previous Buddhas embraced the enlightened mind and progressed along the Bodhisattva's path, I too, for the benefit of all sentient beings, give birth to bodhicitta and apply myself to accomplish the stages of the path. So this is the commitment of bodhicitta in general.
다 디슈라 가서 다 강한테 점로지 요래 요라 점로리 때 참여하 고그래 산지 좋다 소죠.
Karela?
강한테 점로 롱가테 강한도 와. 담다디 쇼랑 이바다. 디 롱가 점도 and the shorter 점도 다 산지 좋다 소죠.
And so then we have the longer refuge. So in above, until I attain the heart of enlightenment, is all sentient beings limitless of the sky and so forth. And then we take refuge in the kind root lama and lineage lamas and so forth. This is the longer refuge vow, or the vow of refuge or prayer of refuge. So when we do refuge as a practice, as one of the Gundar practices, that's what we accumulate. That's the recitation that we accumulate. And then there's the abbreviated prayer of refuge that we're very familiar with in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, most excellent, and so forth. And so then we also have, after that, everybody is familiar, the four immeasurables, the cultivation of the four immeasurables that may all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky.
Tenida Manzar Samanza, Malusumia Guni, Gonjorgia, the young pair de Zachambushures.
And then this, what follows that, Vajrat Samadza, and then refuge of all sentient beings without exception and so forth. This is Gari, prayer Gari? A really important prayer, special prayer.
That tea, Karisenangazota, Sanji Kim Nupa, Sanji Kim Chembadi, de la Tonto Grace.
Because it is kind of summoning the power and like omniscient wisdom of the Buddha.
That is maybe you guys already know story, but the Sanji Heshobi Gabla, Tene, that Jarboje getting Ta Sanji and the Denden Shugo those and Tene Koranketa, Tea Gablata, Motayo Marwati Gablatene, Lomboche, Ta, the Zolatene, Sanji Hotaji, but Denden Shuyak Cheetah Latene, Tadrignam Gregores.
So during the time of the Buddha, there was a king who wanted to invite the Buddha to his palace. And so he went through all of the activities of making the necessary preparations for this, like, preparing the elephants and the caravan of people to go greet the Buddha and then invite him and bring him back to the palace.
That Jarbu K, Tene Pomo, Zemo, Tene, more Chanjab Sembe, Dubares.
And the king had a daughter who was a bodhisattva.
Tene, that Terwa. What that tea kitty, Pala Chorantini Gogumares, Sanji Tami Chambares.
And she said to her father, Mende Zangmo,
Mende Somodene, Amanda Somo Kitene, or that tea, Sorbatabna, Sanji, Chanjo Sambare, Sanji Tami Chambare, Tea in the Tene, Semjan Sanji Ninja Chambore, Tea in the Tindiki, Sanji Pavongres.
And so,
Tea in the Tene, that Jerbu Kalaosena. Yata Tina, that Chorang Yeti Hakumendo, Chorang Kichila, and the Molisum Yaguni Bonjour, La Laka Porto, Chajaji, and Teniji unit, Sanji that thing, also the Chanjo Samba Mendes Sambo, also Denden Sugados. Tin the Tang, Drajumba, Zundu of Chatanta, as a young Dogre, something, Zundu Tolatine, Telepebare, Slabdo, Sanji Nupa, that's Sanji Drajum Victine, Chenap Nupa. 동양 기치도 라네 모랑라 카르스나스 대바요레 모랑 창차 선바라와 디인디데 자좀 바트조케 초파노데 땡토 부여사라와.
And so the king's daughter, who was named Minde Zangmo, said, we don't have to do all this because the Buddha can actually come. He is omniscient and has the power and ability to just manifest wherever it is that there are beings with faith who supplicate him. So if we, so he is, a bodhisattva who is whose objective is to achieve the benefit of beings. And so if we supplicate him, then he will come, he will appear, and just through manifesting or emanating magically, because and then the king said, well, I don't know how to do that, so can you show me? And so she lit some incense and held it between her folded hands in the gesture of prayer and supplicated the Buddha to appear. And the Buddha, together with his entourage of arhats, flew through the sky and emanated there, appeared there in the palace in the presence of the king and all of his retinue because of this supplication.
Oda Tegana Yerwatini, Sanjek Song or that train, 장저 선바 민대 상봉가서 된된 휴고요레스 뭐라 장저 선바 이미 줌센트를 된다 가서 그 준주 때나 땡토고요 봐 진짜 자주omba 준주 용의 상망가 전로 그래서한테니 지 벽도.
And so the Buddha said, "Oh, the Bodhisattva Minde Zangmo, because of her supplication, we we have been invited, and we should go. We should appear there, like miraculously emanating or miraculously appearing."
That is that issue. Also, Argamda Sagibuchita Minde Priatlo.
So then with the recitation of Argam, Padyam, Pushpe, Dupe, etc., so these are all offerings, and so the purpose of that is to generate merit. And same with offering a mandala, which is next.
Buddhism realization.
And so then this prayer that begins in Tibetan, Namo Nangsi Namdaki Lamala, or Namo to the Lama of utterly pure appearance and existence, I offer appearance and existence arisen from the ground. So this is a really important and powerful prayer that really embodies the essence of Buddhism. And the view, the meaning of the view of Mahamudra and Dzogchen is present in this.
What in that and that the Deva Tony Mazota, somebody was Chancho Sam Gulon say at the
So in any case, this is just to emphasize the importance of establishing the right intention. And so when we, begin with an activity such as this, like empowerment, it's so important to cultivate the pure intention, the mind of bodhicitta.
That tellatini tanangasta kashi shubere nenga chembore samgado tiniti tola yang chabanda dang komendo yona songdang stemina tene ngaso tikula ta tabja chewa changjo sangwang aji gulon seya teji shugins.
And so he feels like he sort of touched upon some important things with this introduction here, or these introductory words. And so he wants to open to all of you if you have anything you would like to ask or share. And then if not, then he will. Oh, okay. Then he'll move on also. So he wants to allow for some question and answer and discussion, and then he also wants to talk about. So we talked about the importance of cultivating the pure intention based on bodhicitta, and then there's also and that we finished. But then there's also the motivation of the vast method, or the motivation of secret mantra, the secret mantra motivation, which also he's going to talk about. So I think the actual empowerment, it looks like, is going to be happening more in the afternoon, I think. Right? Just to let you know. Depends, yeah. So does anybody have anything they would like to? Any questions?
I have something.
Okay.
Okay, so the work that I'm doing right now is that I support people with mental illness. And so many of them are elderly and express their fear of dying. And I really wonder how I can best support them when they start to tell me about this fear, the deep fear that they have. Buddhist, so, but I do use, you know, what I've practiced in the Dharma and, my bodhisattva through my bodhisattva vows, and, you know, I do the best I can, but this is something that even is important to me at my age now, so can you give me some helpful hints?
Rita Jetango Buddhism Mena Rawa, Jetan Tesonri Sanjik Sondo, Sanji Chonada, Majonada, Ko Ranji Ke, Chotamji Niloji, Yore Sondo.
So yeah, he said even like irregardless if someone is Buddhist or not, you know, it is according to the Buddha's teachings, you know, whether the Buddha appears or doesn't appear,
Teachings or
whether the Dharma is taught or not taught, the true nature of the mind, the Buddha nature, the essence of awareness is the same. And
Buddha nature or whatever this quota, Jitendi Nare, Rawa. Jitendi Knala, Kundi Chotamji.
The nature of reality is the same.
Tindita, Kari Lavina, Tangi Kong Huana Yere, Mulla, Kariungo Ranjik, Ko Jivik Dungedan, Navik Dungedan, Givi Dungeda, Hivi Dungede, Ko Natures.
And, you know, we know, for instance, the reality, the nature of birth, old age, sickness, and death. That is just nature.
Tati Yinayata ko learning Majina accept it to a Kaborwa. Yinayata got this learning Tini Ranji Resha, ko Zamina, Tene Koji Hiala this, or that Teneji Chungu Yore, something, Tenanga to the preparation Euro. Monachina, so this Jamina, this Pengerwa.
So, but if we don't learn about this, then it becomes really more difficult to accept. And so even, you know, for preparation, it can be really beneficial to reflect in such a way that allows for acceptance.
And not only that, you know, the Shivik Dungeti, I don't know exactly after the death, but Yina Yanga to religious, you what a meva nibody, a cheba shoes through those religion, go through.
And regardless of what somebody's faith might be, he thinks that when it comes to the suffering of death, there's a really big difference between somebody who has some spiritual or like a religious faith or some spiritual faith and someone who doesn't.
Tinita, Koji Ben Christianity, no Yaborwa, Watanga, Hingabji, Jita, Tende, Doji Yunako, Shivika Latin, Dungi Yungumendawako.
And so, like, for instance, take somebody who's maybe Christian. If they have deep faith in their Christianity, at the time of death, it really can help them to be at peace and to die peacefully.
Tinita, Nenga Nindua, religious Goya Jigdan, Tini Ibadi, Tangi Kontuana Yeta, what is Rangi Chunguyowa, Kun Naturimba, Chunguyovati.
So he thinks those are the two perhaps most useful things, is to help encourage people in their faith, whatever it might be, and to help kind of guide in reflection of acceptance of the reality of birth, old age, sickness, and death.
Then plus we do some prayers, you know, for them.
If everything is liberated upon arising, then bodhicitta then is just the fact that you would like them to also have that experience of liberation. It would just follow. If one can rest on everything is liberated upon arising.
Then a rang sha rang ro gi nyamyong yorwa. Then he rang then na nyamyong yona. Then he jangchu sem seyadi mitsama then da nyamyong yongya gi rewa dang then da te dupa dawo. Rere.
Gugdo la worry.
Re simchin tamche then da de pena rang shar de gare shar na de rang shar rang ro ki nyamyong de
Yona?
rang yona then he simchin tamche gogundo then da yona yapodo samba de jangju semreve.
Hey, that is a good question. In a yanda tanda de la rangsha rangdor sayadidoa. The Betsy Tombores.
So this things being liberated, self-liberated upon arising is a very high level.
That Yuna, not to change of sem ni or Gunzob change of sem sayadida, Tona change of sem ni or this.
And so, and if that is, like in the context of that, we have the two levels of bodhicitta, right? We have relative bodhicitta, we have ultimate bodhicitta.
That Gunzob change of semina, Tambo Ning Chamba, Ningji, change of that, Megne, Tini Chigoya Yorwa, Teres. Yina that and the Chana the Ransha Rando Chatobina, then you automatically bodhicitta, automate bodhicitta, channel. And
so the relative bodhicitta is, actively cultivating, developing love, actively cultivating compassion, actively cultivating the aspiration of bodhicitta with all sentient beings as our focus. But then what you're speaking of, the experience of things, whatever arises being self-liberated upon arising, that is, at that stage, one rests or abides within ultimate bodhicitta. It's just automatic. And it is, and there's no need to deliberately have concepts of cultivating love, compassion, and bodhicitta that are based on, that are conceptual, but that he said is like, not easy to do.
You can't, that's good.
I want to say we did not set up to have a microphone that I could take to anybody, so people can.
All right, that's good.
Come to the mic, yes.
Right here, say your questions, that would be good, or if you can simply repeat someone's question, then the online people will have.
Can hear. Yeah, it would be really great if you could go to the microphone. If you can't, I will repeat your question. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, please. Sorry.
So I just had a question based on what you just said. So does that necessarily mean that if you can abide in a state of rigpa, then you don't need to conceptualize whether you're in bodhicitta or not, and then by residing in rigpa, everything can kind of naturally just dissolve within the space of rigpa? Is that, as a clarification, is that what you meant?
Rita Jitanga to Tizumudo, Ransha Randors, Labdula, Tereda, Ben Randa and Shot and Chabrom, she is Uduko, Natsuki, the ordinary Keta, Namto Shada Shagrawa. In a Shagri, in a Yanko, Chik Bena Telako Karsegari, Zimbatan, Chapat the Mevatini. Ko yendo gore bena chuki na web rawo teni rawo chona teni ta ko automate bude bot kita chalo is.
So yeah, it's like the example that is often used to express the difference is that of like the mind being like a solid ice block, as opposed to the ice block melting and becoming free-flowing water. And so at that stage where the mind is expansive and it is not narrow and fixated, then whatever it is that arises is liberated upon arising. There's no sticking. There's no fixation in the mind. And so it becomes just like, waves that are on the surface of the water, ripples on the surface of the water, that there are ripples. So it's not that he said the mind is completely without concepts. There are concepts, but there's no identification with and sticking of the concepts. There's no grasping. And so they appear like ripples on the water, but dissolve back into the water, or like waves in the water that dissolve. They arise out of the water and dissolve into the water with no sticking.
I think another clarification. 그리고 그것은 양당 가서 guessing the hopping 인치야 이거 말이지. 찬도 그래서 이거 말이지.
Also, it's really important not to have a lot of hope to like have that experience.
이 얘기도 매도 나나 딱 당이 셈 나나 딱 그래서.
So instead, just look at your mind, and then you'll know what your experience is.
So if you feel that truly, so that's the real, Otherwise, sometimes, sometimes that's a yachi, younger, some girl.
And sometimes we have expectation, like and then we fixate based on our expectation that this is what will be our experience,
Right, then that's not work.
and it doesn't work.
It doesn't work. Okay. Okay.
Do you want me to use the microphone or?
Sure.
It's so the people on Zoom can hear your questions, and I'd be happy to repeat, but often when they're longer, I'm not going to do them justice, so it's probably better
And
to.
also, there are questions in the chat that we should
Oh,
bring
okay.
forward as well from the folks online.
Sure,
Thank
please.
you.
Awesome. I don't know if this will make sense, but I was thinking when you're talking about illness and you're talking about like the expectation on healing when you're like attending a certain event or like talking to a certain teacher, and how do you kind of like remove the importance of like the body in terms of like our production in society and like how we kind of are operating when there's so much value placed on that, so it's kind of hard to like disconnect from that if we have like an illness or a healing from something,
You mean
like the physical body, I guess.
Dini pena dampo gasi pena chu di thopna yangna lama cha chembo yoba te chikchina ni nacha ne da sigere rewa yang che sigere wa dini
Right.
dinda dawo che ayo mare che sung yoro yini yang chitang ngaso zubo la yoro wa dini chitang yang de pena jiktingi ngone de zubo yang de tangpo de ya tang yapo kyongya
I think that's a very good question. Okay, nghe lao ya thế lao gọi đấy wa. Ta bên ngã thu chu shu yo đấy, chu shu yo đấy, ngã đang gọi đấy, làm mấy cái chuyện làm ina đấy, shu yo đấy wa. Thế shu này ngã thu nhầm lên chỉ nó phèn tóc bể yo đấy. Ta thằng kia nghe lao ya thì chúng sinh khai sinh na, ta chỉ yu chỉ bu khi chỉ nô cái đấy, đâu ngã thu khai mà chỉ na, thế chỉ thuộc mà đấy. Vậy là có thể 유니의 고래스 맞다 상지를 지나면 요래 라다도 졸라 지나면 요래 지나면 요바티 나초케 대바당 이 제치네 고데 니발랩도 요래스 내가 나 이게다 샘근이 봐 삼제메 차오래 제지니 봐 삼제메 차오래 송도와 맞죠 제 메라서 봐 니바 요래 nature plant. Gana yi gom sempi nipa yore, sanji tang chancho sempi nipa yore wa. Tato tsangma nga zo combination do ji, nyam tu zom gogo wa. Jigna ji ma yinba.
But dine yang de pena zupo la yang ke chimbo ma yamba dao de gande samso gande la ba yana ha ko ma song yana yang
Suko keche moro wa.
Yeah.
Hansang keche moro is.
So I'm not told if this doesn't answer the question, please let us know. But he said, so he wants to clarify a little bit what he was speaking to when he mentioned that the point that he was making was really about when there's like about this objectification that can happen, where it's like, oh, I am the blessings of the Dharma, the blessings of the Lama, and without kind of this understanding of the kind of integration or the mixing of the mind with these objects of blessing in such a way that they can really then we can experience the benefit directly. So if we're only thinking of them as like, oh, this really profound object, but we're missing the link of connection, then of course the Buddha has tremendous blessing, the Dharma has tremendous blessing, the deity has tremendous blessing. The link there is really the mind of faith and trust. And so when there's faith and trust, then we can actually experience the power and blessing of the objects. But when there's separation there and there's expectation of healing or some sort of whatever expectation, but there's this kind of disconnection, that's what he was kind of speaking to. But the potential for healing and for experiencing the energy and power of the blessings is inconceivably vast. And he said, and of course, yes, like attending to the body and the health of the body is very important.
Tene da nga tsu tene di nga tsu di for training the mind na tene tenjor ni gawa tenjor ji mulu rambo che songdo kaste be yores.
And de nanga yore. So, and also in, for instance, like the four turnings of the mind, contemplating precious human rebirth, for instance, also, that's
How the precious is.
like how precious the human body is, and really like caring for and valuing the human body is also contained within that, and that health.
Tene tiga na ita nga tsu sangal zamno da na ta ko hlanda ure slut.
And from the perspective of secret mantra, the body is the deity, so it's.
Shall I read a few questions from
Sure.
online?
Yeah, maybe
Please.
Richa first. I think she has oh, okay.
Let me get one or two from them in.
Oh, sure.
Okay. This is from Dang Khoa. Says, Dear Rinpoche, my first question is that from the beginning of this teaching, due to internet connection, I missed some of your teachings. Is it okay for me to receive empowerment?
Absolutely, yes. Even though we not start employment.
We haven't started it yet.
Okay. My second question is that in order to get enlightenment, can I just chant the mantra of Vajrayogini my whole life, or do I have to do Nundro and combine my Vajrayogini practice? I have a hard time to see a big picture of process to get enlightenment, so through the second question, I would be grateful if Rinpoche can show me. Thank you very much.
Re ta di chuch ta pa chi de ya ta ko san ta in Latin chaya ki ta res degrees. Mu chuchi yore la song ta pa.
Mare de George Naljorma mitse gang la nyamling chego samgyore yini yang di ngondro injiminji chego gereve yang na di tipo chena sanje gopang cha sigereve. I missed the last part of the question. I kind of got the question about practicing Vajrayogini your whole life to attain enlightenment, and then it seems like is it important to also practice Ngondro, as what I heard in that? Is there? Then
Right. Does he have to combine them? His last sentence was, I have a hard time to see a big picture of process to get enlightenment. So through the second question, I would be grateful if Rinpoche can show me.
I'm not sure I understand that.
In
I'm
the
so
pro-
sorry. Yeah. One more time.
Well, I could say, I could ask Don Koa to type into chat a clarification.
Or ta de wa ta ha ko song sin na di.
He understands.
Ta de wa re wa je yogini re sin ta tanda kong chu wa na ye re ta nga zo di je ta chu chi di na de tong re stick de wa.
So yes, absolutely. You can practice one practice for your whole life, and you will experience the results of that. That any practice has any Dharma practice can be effective to the same means.
Right. However, so like very important part is the I think we call ngondo, right? Preliminaries.
The preliminaries.
So this very important is the karma cause effect, you know.
So
So
understanding
your
karma
understanding,
cause
that
and
is
effect.
very important. Then plus, you know, precious human life.
Precious human life.
So those are very important, you know. So, like for example, Vajrayogini practice itself is not much explanation, you know, just practice, mantra, generation, so on. But also we really understanding, most important is understanding is like for turning the mind, karma cause effect.
The four thoughts that
Very,
turn the
very
mind.
important. Then, you know, very last long, and also confident, you know. Sometimes we are, I said, you know, sometimes very exciting, oh, I'm going to either this informant, this practice, that practice, you know. But sometimes not every day is different, you know. Today I really want to practice this one, very special, but maybe tomorrow is, I don't know, you know. So these, why they coming like that is not, they don't understand the clear karma cause effect, you know. If understanding, like basically for turning the mind, you know, impermanence and understanding karma cause effect, then no matter there's going on, but they keep going practice, you know. So very, very important, you know, the karma cause effect. So.
Yes.
And then top, you know, we have understanding karma cause effect, and then plus the yidam practice, then top, you know.
Next question from Lana Minash says, for those of us having Vajrayogini initiation, I know Vajrvarahi and Vajrayogini are supposed to be the same. They're usually interchangeable. But does that mean that my daily Vajrayogini sadhana fulfills the requirement for this initiation, and vice versa, doing this sadhana satisfies Vajrayogini requirement? This presupposes that there is a Vajrvarahi sadhana at the end of this empowerment.
So yes, essentially like they're the same. So if you're practicing Vajrayogini, then it fulfills, you know, the requirement of this Varahi practice. But and yeah, there is, I think there is, and we also have online there. We'll talk about the sadhanas at some point, maybe in the what's available exactly, because I'm not entirely sure. But yeah.
Great.
Hi. Can you talk about so I offer appearance and existence from the ground. Can you talk about the view from which we're doing that?
So namo nangsi namdaki lamala nangsi shir shingsu chupabo roa. Hani digi ngaso nangla gi tawa yojoroa yini sim gi nangle gare gande chepo gare. So he said he thinks that something similar will come up in the context of empowerment, and he will address it further too.
Okay, one question. Lina. Okay, there after that you have question, we can do afternoon.
Can you talk about the responsibilities that one has to engage in the practice after receiving empowerment?
Ti da jatang nga di namjun do china ta nga yidam simgi ore spena cha cha vina nga cha cha chembo nganden do yin bina tene ta yidam phang do marma dem chon do tene benan suksu yoga naro ba ina waja yogini do ta waja thanda di nga di den do tene chiri ore wa ti indi tene ta nga tsu yang sam gro wo wang ji top na yang nyam len chi wang ji tene ko ma re chi to ge ma re 되는 예담직실이나 된득거리스.
Yeah, so basically there is what we refer to, as the Yiram deity. So that's like whatever your kind of chosen specific deity is, and sometimes it has to do with the lineage of practice that you're doing. So for instance, in the course of practice of, say, the fivefold path of Mahamudra, the Yiram deity is Chakrasamvara that's practiced in the context of the fivefold path of Mahamudra. And then in the 6 yogas of Naropa, the Yiram deity is Vajrayogini. And so if one is practicing a Yiram deity, what? One practices one Yidam, essentially, and that is the same in essence to all. It's the same as, the essence is the same as that of all deities. And so sometimes we think, oh, if I get this empowerment, then I need to shift my focus and do that practice and practice that deity. But actually, you don't have to think of it like that, because if you practice one Yidam deity, that covers all of the empowerments that you receive.
Okay.
On to the next question.
Afternoon.
Okay.
Okay, so they just really short dedication.
Okay, so we can close for lunch here, and then we'll reconvene at what time, David? At 2:30. Okay, so we'll come back here at 2:30, and we will do, and that's Eastern time. And then we can just do the dedication prayers on page 9. Actually, we'll just do the middle 2 prayers right now, he said, so by the virtues. On page 9. By the virtues collected in the 3 times, by myself and all beings in samsara and nirvana, and by the innate root of virtue, may I and all beings quickly attain unsurpassed, perfect, complete, precious enlightenment. May the teachings of the great Trikungpa Ratna Shri, who is omniscient, Lord of the Dharma, Master of interdependence, continue and increase through study, practice, contemplation, and meditation until the end of samsara.
Thank you.